You have been reading people your entire life. Every glance, every pause, every shift in someone's posture, your brain has been processing it all, quietly, without you even noticing. But here is what nobody tells you. Most of what you think you are reading is wrong. Not because you are not paying attention, because you are paying attention to the wrong things. There is a psychology to reading people that most never learn. It is not about catching liars or memorizing a list of body language tricks. It is something far deeper. It is about understanding the signals that people send before their conscious mind has a chance to edit them. Paul Ekman spent decades studying the human face. He was a psychologist at the University of California, and what he discovered changed everything. He found that beneath every conversation, beneath every smile and every practiced expression, the human face flashes something called microexpressions. They last between 1/25th and 1/5th of a second. They are involuntary, they are honest, and almost nobody is trained to see them. Your brain is already registering them. You just do not know how to listen to what it is telling you. Think about the last time you met someone and something felt off. You could not explain it. They said all the right things, they seemed friendly enough. But somewhere underneath the conversation, something was sending you a signal. That feeling, that quiet friction, was not irrational. It was your brain detecting a mismatch between what someone was saying and what their body was doing. That mismatch is where the real psychology begins. Here is the first thing most people miss: baseline behavior. Before you can read a deviation, you need to know what normal looks like for that specific person. This is what trained FBI negotiators and behavioral analysts do before they ever start looking for signs of deception or stress. They watch, they listen, they build a picture of how this particular person behaves when they are at ease. Does this person naturally speak with their hands? Do they make strong eye contact, or do they tend to look away when thinking? Do they use filler words like, or even when they are completely relaxed? These are not signs of lying or anxiety. These are baseline. And once you know the baseline, everything that deviates from it becomes meaningful. Joe Navarro, a former FBI agent who spent 25 years reading people in interrogation rooms, put it this way: it is not the behavior itself that tells you something. It is the change in behavior. A person who always fidgets and then suddenly goes completely still, that stillness is the signal. A person who never fidgets and suddenly cannot stop touching their face, that movement is the signal. Most people reverse this entirely. They look for one specific gesture and try to attach a fixed meaning to it. Crossed arms means defensive. Avoiding eye contact means lying. But this is the kind of surface-level reading that leads you to misread quiet, introverted people as cold or nervous people as dishonest. The deeper skill is context. Always context. Your body does something remarkable when it encounters a threat or discomfort. It tries to make itself smaller. This is an evolutionary response, the same response that made your ancient ancestors freeze or crouch when danger was near. When someone is uncomfortable in a conversation, watch what their body does. Their shoulders roll slightly inward, their chin drops a fraction, their feet, and this is crucial, their feet point away from you. The feet are one of the most honest parts of the human body because almost nobody thinks to control them. In a conversation where someone genuinely wants to be present with you, their feet point toward you. When they want to leave, even if they are smiling and nodding and saying all the right things, their feet have already made the decision for them. Now notice what happens in your own body. When was the last time someone said something that made you feel uneasy and your body instinctively shifted? That was not random, That was your nervous system communicating something your conscious mind had not fully processed yet. Here is where reading people becomes something more than a skill. It becomes a form of empathy. There is a concept in psychology called emotional contagion. Elaine Hatfield, a social psychologist at the University of Hawaii, found that human beings automatically and unconsciously mimic the facial expressions and body language of the people around them. And through that mimicry, they actually begin to feel what the other person feels. This is why you feel tired when you are around someone who is exhausted. Why you feel anxious when someone next to you is tense, even if they have not said a single word. Your body is reading them before your conscious mind has formed a single thought about them. The people who are exceptional at reading others are not doing something alien. They are doing something deeply human. They have simply learned to slow down enough to notice what their nervous system is already picking up. There is one signal that cuts deeper than almost any other. It is called the social smile versus the Duchenne smile, named after the French neurologist Guillaume Benjamin Duchenne, who discovered that genuine smiles involve a muscle around the eye called the orbicularis oculi. This muscle is almost impossible to activate consciously. You cannot fake it reliably. A real smile reaches the eyes. It creates small crinkles at the outer corners. A polite or performed smile does not. You have seen thousands of both in your life. You know the difference even if you have never had a name for it. The next time someone smiles at you, do not look at their mouth. Look at their eyes. Reading people is not about distrust. It is not about catching people in something. At its core, this skill is about connection, about understanding the full picture of what another human being is communicating. Not just the edited, polished version they offer with their words, but the honest, unscripted version their body is quietly broadcasting every single moment. When you learn to read that broadcast, something shifts in how you move through the world. You stop misreading silence as coldness. You stop confusing nervousness with dishonesty. You stop taking a forced smile at face value and wondering why something still feels hollow. You begin to see people as they actually are, not as they are trying to appear. And the strange part, the part that takes most people by surprise, is that when you get better at reading others, you get better at reading yourself. You start to notice when your own body is telling you something your mind has not admitted yet, when your feet are already pointing toward the door, when your smile is not reaching your eyes. You have been reading people your entire life. You always had the signal. Now you are learning to hear it.